Hey everybody, so welcome to the install video. This is part 2. This is how you're going to put your ride or die forks on the Tuttio. If you didn't watch our what are we calling it?
Deconstruction?
The
Deinstallation.
The
Yes.
deinstallation video.
Yeah.
Check that one out on how to take your Tuttio apart. It'll make it a lot easier. All right, here we got our old forks. If you like the little hose keepers for the brake lines, you can take these off your old forks, and those are going to screw on your new clamps in the exact same spot.
We're ready now.
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Take your lower clamp, and these just screw on in the exact same position right there. You can put those on, tighten those down, or if you don't like those and you'd rather use the ride or die velcros or zip ties or any other method, you don't have to put these back on.
Beautiful.
All right, here you can see everything that should come with your ride or die fork kit in the clamp box. This is your upper clamp here. We'll take the longer M10 bolts, and we're just going to put the lower portion of our risers on right now. And I strongly recommend Loctite on all of this. It's less maintenance. If you Loctite everything in, you won't have to constantly come back in and tighten it up. And you're going to want to make sure that all of this stuff is tight. All right, and here we got a 14 millimeter. We're just going to tighten that up.
You don't have to hammer it.
Next, let's go ahead and just pre-thread all our clamp bolts here.
Here, I can do this one while we're at it.
You do that one, I'll do this one. All right, so here we got our lower triple clamp that we've put together, pre-assembled. We're just going to insert the hollow head tube. And I like to turn the flats on that so I can grab it with a wrench pretty easily. Slide that up, then you're going to put the lower bushing on, which is the small one. Slide that up through the head tube. And put your upper bushing on and kind of push it down until you feel it go into that lip seal. Upper clamp goes on top of that. Then right now we're just going to put this on finger tight just to hold everything in place. All right, let's slide our forks up. So we haven't tightened up the triple clamp yet, so that this is kind of loose. That way we can get our forks in there and get everything lined up. So we're just going to slide that up through, get that to the height that we want, and then I'm just going to tighten down the top triple clamp. When you do your final assembly, make sure and put Loctite on all of this. And I'm making sure I put my fork with my brake mount on the left side and the one without it on the right. All right, there's that. All right, now tightening up the head tube. You don't need anything super fancy. I'm going to do this with just a pair of channel locks and a crescent. I'm going to hold that top nut, and I'm going to use the flats down here to turn the tube. Get that real tight. All right. And again, make sure and Loctite your head tube. All right, next step would be to take all the bolts out, put Loctite on all of them, and then do your final torque up. All right, now my head tube's tight. All my clamp bolts are tight. All right, and first thing you want to do before you put your fender on is get the handlebars mounted. So let's get the handlebars right there. I'm gonna put my top clamp on and start all the clamp bolts. Put some Loctite on these as well. And the reason that you're doing this is because you need to get the wires passed down through that hollow tube before you put your fender on. All right, that's nice and tight. So I've got my throttle cable and my brake cable. I actually pulled the brake cable out of the little rubber stopper, whatever this thing is that goes on top of the hollow tube. So I'm going to press my brake connector back through there. See if I can get this through. And then give it approximately the same length. You can't slide the connectors down beside each other, so kind of stagger them just a little bit, and they should just poke on through there. And then your rubber stopper goes right in the new hollow head tube, just like your old one, and just kind of seals everything off, I guess. All right, now let me show you how to route the brake cable with one hand. All right, so first, take the cable, go under the fork, go around that handle, and then you're just going to come over here. You can go over that one, and then we're just going to mount that right there. Mount this back on the handlebar. If you're using an impact, try and go easy on these. These master cylinders crack really easily, so I wouldn't go crazy with it. All right, and then I usually just click that back in. All right, and that's our cables hanging out the bottom. So I'm just gonna connect these back up. The brake cutout, the controller cutout from your rear brake is pretty easy to get connected back up. The throttle has some very fine pins on it that you definitely don't want to bend. There's a little alignment slot. You want to look at those pretty closely and definitely don't force that. Make sure you get that back in the exact spot that it needs to go before you start pushing. Just take your time with that step, and then when you're done, just tuck all that back in. All right, now let's put this fender back on. You're just gonna get your screws started. Nut bolts straight into the bottom of the new triple clamp. And that's that. All right, now let's stick our front wheel back on and take our axle here. Slide that axle in there. Go ahead and put your wheel spacer on. Stab that into your front wheel. Wheel spacer on the other side. Get everything lined up. Get your nut started. And this kit does come with an axle. Then you're going to need a 14 millimeter and a 17 millimeter to tighten it up. And it has a lock nut, so you can put Loctite on it. You don't have to. If you reuse that axle several times, you might want to go ahead and get some Loctite on there. All right, a couple things about your ride or die front brake that comes with every fork kit. The ride or die front brake is a universal brake for many different platforms. It comes with a switch. For the Tuttio platform, we don't use this switch, so take that Phillips head screw out and you can remove the switch. Or if you want to keep it, maybe you're going to do something in the future with it, you can just tuck it into the other wires. The caliper does not come with attached spacers. The spacers are loose, they come in the kit, there's different sizes, there's a few extra washers for shimming. You can develop the spacing that you want for whatever platform you're attaching this to. So I'll show you which spacers to use for the Tuttio platform. First things first, let's get that caliper attached. You can actually attach it out here, get the screws started out here away from your throttle. Just start those by hand, and then you can slide it into position where it's going to go. And attach it just like that. Route that hose down the front and just clip that in the little hose holder. We can go ahead and get our ride or die Velcros attached to keep the cable exactly where we want it, away from the tire. And same thing with the rear. Just like that. Now for the Tuttio, you're just going to put your front caliper on the brake there. Slide that up into position. Okay, this is the medium length bolt, and this is the largest spacer that comes in the kit. Flathead washer and a lock washer. Just going to put that lock washer on, that flat washer. I'm going to slide my bolt in there, and I'm going to stick my spacer behind it. And then I'm going to get my caliper into position, making sure my brake pads are on the rotor. And get my bolt started, but not tight. Take the second one, same thing, lock washer, flat washer, medium-sized bolt, slide it in, get that spacer in between the caliper and the fork mount, and get that started. Get those tight. There you go. All right, and that's it. Installation of your new ride or die 45, 48, much larger, beefier forks on the Tuttio platform. It's got the upgraded front brake for added stopping capability, CNC triple clamps for added strength, 45, 48 forks, and available in S or P type, whichever you prefer. And it comes with the original wheel spacing. So whatever wheel you were running, you'll run the exact same spacing and then use the spacers on the caliper to get it where it needs to be. This is a real easy fork kit to install on the Tuttios once you get going on it. And if you have any questions, just give us a shout. Ride or die, y'all. Enjoy it.